So I want to get started with your story. So tell them like where you originally from.
I am originally from Charles County, Maryland.
Charles County, Maryland. Born
As
in
as they say,
1985, right?
Maryland. Charles County, Maryland.
Charles County, Maryland. So
hmm
how did your parents, aka my grandparents, how did they meet?
My parents are originally from Mississippi. My dad is from Goodman and my mom was from Yazoo City. I don't know all of the details on how they met, but my dad was drafted to Vietnam, and while he was at Vietnam, he still pursued my mom, and I still have the letters that my dad wrote to my mom. And they were both from a small town. And I remember my dad telling us a story that his father said, "It's nothing wrong with being a mechanic or working in a factory, but you're too smart to live in Mississippi." And back in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, racism was very prevalent, and very open. And he said, "You'll never be who you really could be living in Mississippi. So when you get out of Vietnam, don't come back." And he honored his dad's wishes. He never moved back to Mississippi.
Mm,
He moved closer to Mississippi so that he could be with his parents. But
yeah.
so he left. So my mother had graduated high school and moved to Chicago. And after my dad got out of Vietnam, he got a job as a DC police officer, and he went and he got my mom and brought her to District of Columbia, DC, and they had me.
Okay. Do we have family in Chicago? I know grandma lived
Oh
there.
yeah, we have a lot of family. We have an uncle, my mother's oldest brother. His name is, I think is I we have nicknames, but his name is Robert. And I think he will turn 80 this year, but that's my mom's oldest brother, and he currently lives in Mississippi.
Okay. So currently, but like people, like do we
Yeah,
have any?
I have a first cousin who lives in Chicago, and actually she owns like a fitness, like a workout, because she posts all of her clients that are doing um cycling and rowing and exercise. She lives
Yeah.
in Chicago. So I have family in Chicago on my mom's side and my dad's side. My father has some first cousins that currently still live in Mississippi. I mean, live in Chicago. So we have family in Chicago.
So so grandpa's family is originally from Mississippi, right? His
Yes.
side of the family. And what about grandma? Same thing.
Same thing.
So it's like, is it that side just is all Mississippi based?
I believe so. I believe so. Um a lot of our family lives in Mississippi. That's where all my grandmother, my mother's mother, had 10 or 11 kids. I can't remember. And all of them, I believe, was born in Mississippi, but all of them don't currently live in Mississippi right now. My mother's oldest sister, she lives in Memphis, Tennessee. My dad, I think it was 12 or 13 of them, and all of them live in Mississippi now. But there was a time where I think my uncle, the baby boy, he lived in Killeen, Texas.
Okay. Pretty
And
much
then
in
he had a sister that lived in, I think, Kentucky. I'm not sure, but she's back in Mississippi.
okay. So pretty much your side is all south, dad's side is all up north.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.